All right, so here we are, man. So, so you've been conceptualizing this idea for a long time, right?
Yeah. Um, Welcome to the show, John. So, table number 2, table number 1, found the producer. This long table. We talked about in the intro show about finding Wilson. After I found the new table, my old table was a family heirloom, and I'm like sitting here, well, what am I going to do with this old table that I don't need anymore? So I put it on a free community website where people get, they don't want to throw something away, so they put it up for free. Within the same day, John messaged me and said, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Comes over at like 8:00 at night, and I help him load it in his truck. We get to talking about the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He gets intrigued. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was just kind of a funny thing. So part of my entrepreneurial experience is that I flip things. It's what I do, and I was upfront with that. But anyway, I came in and saw the ad, came here and was like, oh, I know this guy. I think we went to school together. Right. And then we started talking, and honestly, there was just like this vibe. It was pretty cool.
Well, what do your day job?
Well, my day job is healthcare, and we'll get to that. But on the table, we just vibed, right? And so like kind of one thing led to another, and then here I am sitting in your basement.
Yeah,
about to be on a show. Not about to be. I'm on it.
You are on it. But we work in a similar industry of junk.
We do. So I do a few things. So I work. I don't actually advertise or anything. So I work with real estate agents, and then just people who like own a lot of real estate. And if they need things cleaned out of their property, I go in. I got a trailer, and I physically pick the items up and take them and put them in my trailer, and then so that's a service that I offer. And then the things, once I get them in, there's a lot of good sellable items in those things that people want. So we sell some of it, we donate some of it. And honestly, it's fun. It's like a treasure hunt. You never know.
We were just talking about that on the intro show. Like, again, the show concept, a dumpster, many different items go in a dumpster. There's certain people out there that are called dumpster divers.
Yes.
They like to find a certain hidden treasure.
Yep.
It's a play on words. Let's all get together. Let's get in the dumpster. Let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Let's find out what value we could bring to the show with high-performing entrepreneurs and also high-performing people in general.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking even about high performance on just being a business, I think a lot of people kind of struggle when they first try to start a business or conceptualize a business where they're like, man, well, I'm not the best at this, Well, nobody is day one. And as a matter of fact, all that you have to do, and if you think about it in these terms, all you got to do is just be a little bit better than the next guy at what you do. Just a little bit. And that's it. So you're not necessarily, and that's what's kept me going. That's what's kept me like, all right, you just got to be a little bit better. And then every day you're just a little bit better,
I do know. And I do know. We say,
a lot.
We'll
get away from it.
No, it's part of the show.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Trademark. Yeah.
Trademark. But yeah, about the show conceptualization, we are still in it. So there's phases of how to start a business, and I haven't done this in a while because I've been in my groove for so long with my day job, the landscaping. But it is definitely a process, and it's once you're in it, it's fun. It should be fun.
Yeah.
And if it becomes not fun, that's cool too. But like in general, overall experience, it should be a fun thing. And people just get so scared because they don't want to jump in and just do it.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk about the show, and we're still in the conceptualization phase of it.
Yeah.
Like, I had a meeting with the merch guy. Yoda Graphics is doing our gift bag. So every time,
perfect.
Every time a guest comes here to the studio, we're gonna have a gift bag that's gender neutral.
Yeah.
It's gonna have a tumbler, And I brought some tumblers down here to show you the examples of different price points. I think hand sanitizers are popular. Like, what do you think of a good trade? Like when you go to a trade show and you grab the stuff off of people's booth, like a ruler is one.
Yeah.
The stress balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so I think the stress balls are cool because not only can like you kind of use them too. Let's say you got kids, man.
Yeah.
They're always like, oh, Dad, you went to a show. What are you going to bring back? And then you can bring back this cool thing.
So the stress ball is going to be a piece of foam that's at an actual dumpster that says Radio Dumpster on it.
Love it.
Definitely want to have a tumbler because if people come on here with soft drinks or a drink, blah blah blah, we can't really put like a Bud Light bottle. So we got to have something. Might as well have like a tumbler. So I brought some in today to go over, and I'll get up here in a second of the price points because if we buy 100 of them, which honestly isn't a high amount because I plan on giving them away. But they could range anywhere from $10 up to $50.
Okay, that's I mean that there's a big difference in
$1,000 up to $5,000 just on the tumblers. We haven't even got to like the little keychains.
Oh, nothing. Yeah,
the stress balls. I think Purell, like a little,
so Purell. So something that I've done in the research that at least that I've done recently on merchandise. Is that you kind of want to stay away from hand sanitizer or anything that could be related to like hygiene, and I don't know why it said that, but it was just more like an era that's come and gone, where everybody needs this hand sanitizer. We kind of don't want to be reminded of that, but I do think it's a good idea, and I think we got to explore all of it.
It's a show about dumpsters.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you should definitely hand sanitize after you get out of a dumpster.
It's not about dumpsters, but it's a play on for what we talk about in the show. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I
do. So that's one option. Stress ball's one. Open to other ideas if you have any. But let's just quickly go over like the products that I have been pitched. Yeah. So These are just items that I've collected over the years. And then part of the meeting that I had, this is a new tumbler that has a removable magnetic cover. So it's like dishwasher friendly. Because a lot of people think that soap gets caught up.
Oh, yeah.
Soap gets caught up in the traditional ones that are like this. So they came out with this magnetic removable one. But kind of fumble around with it. I'm not like too... I've already dropped it twice. But this one actually, Mark Yoder, the guy that does our stuff, was trying to sell me on this one. Not sell me, but just...
let me see that thing.
Yeah. So this one is, again, $10 up to $50, and this is buying in bulk. This one's probably, we'll say like $30, middle of the road.
Okay.
But that's still expensive.
That's expensive for a gift.
Yeah, but comes with engraving and everything else.
Yeah.
So there's that one.
All right.
That's like middle of the road.
Oh, I see. So you don't even necessarily. All right. So I see. So you just kind of push it. Yeah. And it'll go, and then it's removable.
But you could also remove it for washing.
All right.
Yeah. So that I've never seen. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
This one is obviously a Yeti.
Oh, well.
This is not branded, but you know what I'm saying. You can put your logo on it.
Top of the price point.
$40 to $50.
Yeah.
Who spends that? That's insane to me. But they do work.
Yes.
Like, I didn't buy this. Somebody left it at our shop that did some work.
And then
it was like a guy from like the cable company, like who I don't even know who he is.
Oh yeah. How would you even have a number to track down? Yeah.
Yeah. So I kept it around the shop for a while in case he came back. It's been over a year. He never came back. So I started washing it and use it.
Yeah.
It does retain. It does. They do work.
Okay.
Like you could keep beverages hot for a solid 8 hours.
Yeah.
So, but there's multiple components. They're expensive. You get it. Got it. Good. So there's the top of the line.
Yeah.
This one is the middle of the road. And then you've got these most common ones, but some of these I love.
Those I love.
This one, ironically, is a local radio station here. It's called 98.1 WKDD. Shout out Keith Kennedy. I want to have you on the show.
Yep.
Cheap, plastic, functional. It's going to keep your beverage hot maybe an hour. But you like these because they're just
it's just
cool.
It's just
and price point $10 to $15.
Absolutely.
So
wonderful price point.
But cool.
Wonderful price point.
With a handle.
Yeah.
So
and most things don't have handles anymore.
Right.
And here's the thing, the Yeti, man, you drop that thing, you're like, oh no.
No, actually the good thing about the Yeti being in such a high price point, you could throw this down a cliff, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Like so yeah. So there's advantages and disadvantages to each one. At the end of the day, and then this is my Nick's Landscaping one I've had forever. I think the brand is called Little Boss, LIL Boss. But you could see like where my hand has gone, where it's like worn and it's peeling. It's probably, I know because I bought it, it's probably like the $10 to $15 range.
Okay.
So this is a perfect example of one that I spent the money on. I'm sorry, I got this gifted to me. A local engraver. I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
But I still know this is probably like in the $10 to $15 range, which is cool. I've had this forever.
Yeah.
You know, and I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then here's another $10 to $15 one. My
that one's
cousin's
nice.
shop.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So something else so this is actually the one that I brought with me today. And this one is just very generic. It's unbranded.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked into purchasing these and then getting my name on them.
What does it start with? A C?
Yeah. Let me, no. This is totally unbranded.
Oh.
This has no brand name even on the bottom. And so these, I want to say, are in like the $5 to $7 price point.
Right.
Now, but the problem is that we wouldn't be going local. We want to go local. Unless Yoder could get these.
He could get whatever you want.
And so I've been looking at those with the print, right? And the black on the outside of it, which is beautiful until you wash it. And then what happened to that happens to that. So I like the idea of just the insignia of Radio Dumpster,
mm-hmm.
you know, just on stainless steel because it's going to be nicer for longer.
Right. So we can talk about this forever, but this is like where we're at right now. We're figuring out merch, trying to see what we could afford, trying to feel out like if you could comment in the section of what you want to see.
Yeah.
That would help us out decide what route we go. And then koozies obviously are a good one. This is Decocrete Supply. It's a local concrete tool and product supplier. This one's cool. It's, you start feeling these. They are a little different. This one's an actual koozie brand. Did you know that's like tissue, Kleenex?
Really?
This koozie is an actual brand.
I did not know that.
KOZZE.
Wow.
Actual koozie.
All right.
So I've always felt this one's always like unique and like feels like
it feels better than the rest. Yeah.
This one is a local deli here in Akron called Primo's.
Oh, amazing.
They did a 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were giving these out for free, cheap.
Yeah.
But still
effective.
You hold on to them because like, I love that place.
Yeah.
Cool. Got this at a wedding. Again, cheap, but you hold on to it because of sentimental value.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
look at that's cheap.
I mean, it's, but
you still have it because of sentimental value. Now, seltzers are pretty popular right now.
Oh, they are.
So the tall and skinny ones.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is Myrtle Beach. Okay. That was a trip I got. And then there was another. Oh, right here. The bottle.
Ah, the bottle ones
actual
are nice
bottle
too.
drink rolls out there. And this one has a little hidden bottle opener.
I kind of like the idea of that one.
But buying in bulk, this is kind of a unique one. I probably wouldn't get this one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more for right now, the cheaper of the cheap, like this one.
Yeah.
No offense, Ashley Paul. This one's like really cheap, I feel like. But like, you know, getting something not so cheap, but like this one feels a little like more insulated.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love the koozie idea. I love the mug idea. I think they're both great.
Stress ball.
Stress ball.
Yep.
But I think definitely I think definitely the people who are going to subscribe, we need to know, like, what do you like seeing at a trade show? What's the free merch that you want to see? And if it's not on the table, let us know.
Sure.
You know?
Yep.
We want to know.
Yep.
We want to know. Want to know everything.
That's where we're at right now. We're still getting the website together because our goal is it's beginning of February right now. February. Our goal is by Thanksgiving, I want to do a merch launch.
Nice.
So I want to do, even if it's just one thing, start goal small.
You got to start.
Or a hoodie.
Yeah.
I want to do a merch so people could put something underneath the Christmas tree. I want to do a merch launch in the fall.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I want to start with a gift bag with the little things for the guests to walk away with when they come down here. And we're just these are a lot of things I don't need to do, right? But no. I want this to do well, this show. So I'm putting the time and the money into it.
Yeah.
To provide the best product out there, as in show product possible.
Yeah.
Without breaking the bank, literally.
Because you can. I mean, this is an endless market. The merch market is absolutely endless. You can go. I mean, you can get branded giant Bluetooth speakers that say, whatever on the side of them, give them away. I've got them from suppliers before, and I'm just like, wow, what a promotional piece. But you don't want to break the bank on something like that to start with,
right?
Yeah. So Nick,
we talked about how we met.
Yeah. So we talked about how we met
with the table.
But so when you first started out in your entrepreneurial journey, what was something that you know now that you wish that you knew then? Like the number one thing?
Oh, wow.
I know it's deep, man.
I wish some of these questions were given to me before the show, but that's what the whole point of the show is, just to get an organic reaction. What I wish I would have known before I got into owning a business would be really the simple concepts that you think are really complicated of number one, how to manage your money.
Yeah, I agree.
Like even the stuff I did go to college, I graduated from college, but until you get out in the real world and understand how banks work, and they're working for you, you don't need to have like a ton of investors. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to start this small business when I find the right people to invest. Like, you don't really need a lot to do. Just start small.
Yeah.
And when you finally do, like people don't realize this, like, you have your social security number, right?
Yeah.
When you're born.
Absolutely.
Okay. When a business is born, it has its own EIN number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It has its own social security number.
Yes.
So when I buy stuff for the business, whether it be like a huge truck purchase or whatever, I'll put that on the EIN, the social for the business.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect my personal credit. But just learning simple stuff like that, you would think they would teach you in college.
No.
Which they don't.
No.
No. They'll put you through the hell, like, with all these like tests and stuff, but like they don't teach you like simple stuff that is practical in the real world that you almost a lot of this accounting stuff I've learned on my own.
Yeah.
Like, even though I took accounting classes, like, until you actually get in the real world and see how the flow works with things. And that's our whole mission, is to like, just do it. Like, just get into it. You're not going to know until you actually try.
Yeah. Trial by dumpster fire, man.
No, not that.
No.
Like, just jump in, dive in. Calculated risk, of course, but people are just so timid to make that first step.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to ask this a lot. Hopefully I answered your question. What was the question
Yeah,
again?
no, I think you did. Just what is something that you wish that you knew then that you know now? And I think just the financial liability and just how to navigate
how money moves.
that world is huge.
How cash flow, when somebody says cash flow and like profit and loss statement,
yeah,
you learn about that, but you don't learn that until you're actually in it.
No.
And like not like before I still stress about money all the time.
Of course.
But
who doesn't?
the level of stress I was before, and you also get to learn like what times ATMs accept money till.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, bro, it's an every week thing where I know certain locations. I'll map going to the grocery store. I'll map depositing a check or something, and I know if it's a certain brand bank, that brand bank you could go up till 7 p.m. and it still count for the next day. And the other brand bank you could put up till 9 p.m. But you learn all these things because like, I got to get this check in.
Yeah.
But I don't need to stop what I'm doing I got to stop and go to the bank. Don't burn an hour.
No.
Deposit the check at the ATM while you're on your way to the gym, going the opposite way. Cause I know where all the, I'm in the service business. So I'm in my truck. Like when we get busy doing estimates, I live in my truck.
Yeah.
Checking on jobs, blah, blah, blah. You know where bathrooms are.
Yes, you do. You do.
You know where, certain parks, those are the easy.
Yeah.
Right. Where are your local porta johns? Where are your local parks?
Yeah.
So you map it in case you need to stop and go to the bathroom. You can't go all the way home or whatever. You learn how to work.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
It does. No, it does. Because instead of like thinking, okay, like, so let's say you're the difference between being an employee and being, is that like, so if I'm an employee, I have to stay at this location and do this thing.
Sure.
But when you're owning your own business or an entrepreneur and mobile, make things convenient to you by knowing your location. So, all right, so I got to do an estimate here and here and here. Well, I also have to put these checks in the bank. Well, what bank is on my way? Or, and you just start to know that stuff, right?
Yeah. And just being proficient with your time is like the number, like becoming like a parent or whatever. You schedule in pee breaks. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like you have to be very proficient with your time. Mm-hmm. And if it requires like losing a lot of sleep, getting up early, going to bed late, it is what it is.
Oh yeah.
Like, just know that other people are doing that. You're actually probably doing it better than a lot of people, but you don't give yourself credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
And January 1, this year, I instituted old school planner. I still have my phone. A lot of the stuff goes on my phone, like the calendar invites, etc. But I bought it's called the Franklin Covey planner.
Okay.
It's an old method of using like dots, and there's the ABC method of your time. So like you schedule out like 5-6 items of a day. I got to do this. Everybody has a list of like 5-6 items they have to do in that day, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I put, and this is part of the Franklin Covey training, is you put an A, B, or C, A being high importance, B, C, and you could also do A1 or A2. You think it's, you have two A's, 2 B's, and 1 C, whatever it may, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could categorize the A's being A1, A2. Simple stuff, easy stuff. It's an old school way of doing it. Is writing stuff down. I constantly write things down. I intentionally buy shirts and wear shirts that have this pocket. So number one, like when I'm in a piece of equipment and sitting down, I could have it like right here.
Yeah.
And number two, I could have a little piece of paper with a pen. It's just like seeing like a high power chef work. Like they've got like the pens on the arms and stuff like that. But that's like making every movement count.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm being interviewed at a restaurant as a sous chef, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter what restaurants you've worked unless you haven't stolen or whatever. Like at the end of the day, they're going to interview you. Dice up this onion. Dice up these carrots. They're looking at your muscle movements.
Yep.
Do you lift the knife up a foot in the air for every movement, or you're keeping it low and slow, like low and quick? I mean, making every movement count. And that's how you should approach life, is is it a productive movement?
Yeah.
You know, or is
Agreed.
it, what's that?
I said agreed.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the mindset that I have learned to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And it has forced me to live in that because I've got other lives accountable for me.
Yeah.
Like I can't get a check for 100 G's for a deposit on a job and go to Cleveland and gamble it.
No.
You know, that is for the job. That's dependent on other people's lives. The money in the business, really, I don't even look at being, it's not real money.
No.
You're looking to reinvest it. And once you understand that and you're sitting down and talking to somebody else that understands it, you could have productive conversations.
Yeah.
But until you're in the shoes of like managing fake money, which is a lot of what business is.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's a
like,
number.
You've got to borrow. So you got to have some healthy debt to be successful. You know, there's nothing rich quick about any of this stuff.
No. You know, and I think that's something that is so prevalent in, I want to say, social media right now. It's like, oh, get rich quick. Oh, here it is. Here's this, drop shipping, Amazon, anything, all of it. I mean, there's even ones about how to quickly start a business like what you guys do.
And that's why daily pay, even at like KFC.
Yeah.
You drive by their restaurant, on the billboard, they say,
are they doing that?
Oh, that's been around.
What?
Yeah, same day pay. It is because the labor shortages is still very active right now.
Absolutely.
So anybody, like, you get fired from McDonald's, walk down the street to Burger King.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to hire you.
Yeah.
So in order to get somebody in the door that's interested in working, they're like, we'll pay you the same day.
Wow.
And there's a little cut that McDonald's, let's say, or KFC is saving. Like, let's just say somebody's making $10 an hour.
Yeah.
In order to get same day pay, they'll I'm sure there's like a fee that saves a company money.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you only get like $8, and I'm just making up a number, but that's how it works on a lot of these new ways of business and dealing with this new generation coming up is fast money. They want to get rich on YouTube.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. And I knew going into this podcast thing that this is a long-term game.
Oh yeah.
Like,
this is not an overnight thing.
For sure.
So that, you know, I because I'm not currently in, job seeking mode, so I don't really know. And but that whole instant gratification, that's got to be huge. I wonder if there's more employers that are looking into that.
It's more prevalent with what is it, Gen Z?
Yeah, a Gen Z, and then like your entry level jobs, I would think. Or
generation. What's the generation of teenagers right now?
Is it Z?
Millennials?
No, I think that's us. Millennials is us.
Well, I was born in '85, so I'm like right on the.
You're an elder millennial.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm 87, so I am also an elder millennial.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Gen Z is under us, and I don't know what the newest one is. But I know instant gratification. I mean, think of even, there are big corporations that can send you things same day. Right?
Yeah.
So everybody's into this whole instant gratification thing. And it's crazy. But anyway, I did not know that was a thing. And
yeah, same day pay. You'll start noticing it on signs of like Wendy's.
Wow.
Etc. Where that's the new hook to get people into work.
So fast food service. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, or just fast service. I think that's a great way to get people in the door to work.
Yeah.
Do you need money today? You do? Great. Come on in.
And that's also too, like.
And then do you need it tomorrow? Yeah. Come on back.
I know a lot of people that for 20 plus years have been in the bartender or server industry.
Yeah.
And they can't get out of it.
The original same day pay.
Yeah. Like they're I wouldn't say stuck in it, but it's like they just know how that money flow works for them. And
having been in it before, like when I was
same day, it's basically you're walking home with money that day.
Well, you are, and it is
most places. Now there are some places that share tips and you eventually get a paycheck. But
Is that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But again, there's still a lot of places out there that you're walking home that day with, did you have a good day today at work? Well, let me look at my wallet.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
You know, $100, $200, $300 just for that day.
Yeah.
I was in that. I was a server for a long time.
We're at,
Friendlies.
oh, I love Friendlies.
Right? It was
their breakfast.
Oh, dude.
So all my friends worked at golf courses.
Yeah.
On grounds crews and stuff.
Okay.
And Saturdays and Sundays we'd still have to go in and at least cut the greens. It wasn't a full day, but it was mow and go is what we called them those days, because we still had to pick up sticks, blow the course off, cut the greens, and then we were out. So it was usually a 4-hour max day.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd start those days at 6.
Oh yeah.
And so we were done by like either 9 or 10. It was a 3 to 4 hour day. Those were weekends. Unless we had like a event that weekend with like a big event with a course, but we'd meet up at Friendlies, that group of guys, and those were some of the best memories, man. I love that place.
Right?
Yeah.
So I agree. I remember going there and like the two sides, they had the ice cream side.
Yes.
Like the ice cream window, and then they had their dining room.
Right. And the breakfast was so cheap.
Dude, it was so cheap and it was fire. And to me, one of the cool things about it was like one of the only restaurants in the area you could go that did not serve alcohol.
I didn't even think about that until now.
So it was like,
I thought of it more of like,
it was a family through and through, man.
More, I just looked at it as nobody even knew they had breakfast, and it was like our hidden like spot because it was so cheap. You go in there with the $10 and get like, seriously, like 2 full plates.
Oh, huge meal.
Yeah.
Huge meal. And then another place that I worked.
It's probably why they're out of business.
I know, right? They were.
Yeah, but I love that place.
I know. There's everybody I talk to that I'm like, oh yeah, I used to work at Friendlies back in the day. They're like, oh, I missed that place so much.
I know.
And then another place I worked, which is Musketeers over in Richfield. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I've been there. Like, they're still around?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I never had a good experience there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, so it's
Richfield is a town, like a small town.
It's
like
small.
Everybody knows everybody.
Oh yeah.
So outsiders, like if you live outside of town and come in, I feel like it's one of those bars with like the old saloon doors, like when you walk in and everybody like stops and like turns and looks at you.
So it actually, I can, from experience of working there, it was. I mean, you had your daily regulars that were there.
Yep.
And then even your nightly regulars too, which was a little bit different. But yeah, so but I understand trying to get out of the cash same day life to more of like a professional or even an entrepreneurial sense, because if you're not getting that, well, where's it coming from? It's hard to make the transition is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a leap. It's a leap.
Yeah, business is for sure the long game.
Yes.
Rick Ross has this like I listen to these podcasts with the video overs and stuff, and Rick Ross says something. He's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna mess this up." He's like, I want to move correctly. I don't want to move fast as long as we get it right. I want to make all movements correctly.
Yeah.
So if it takes 5-10 years to get it correctly, I just want to make every movement correctly. So what he's saying in that is, and post edit, we could like, it's a very short clip.
Yeah.
Play that. But what basically he's saying is, business is the long game.
Yeah.
If you've got to deal with vendors, building a relationship with vendors is key. Because on those peak seasons where you need them, 9 months out of the year, you're not going to need them.
Mm-hmm.
But you still like check in. Like even though they're working for you, you develop a relationship with them for a reason. Because like when there's a shortage, and stuff is happening in every industry where shortages, fertilizer for us, grass seed is like, I guess cement.
Oh,
there's like a huge concrete shortage right now.
Yes.
But who are you going to put, that dispatcher is like organized this morning. Like this guy was a dick to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like this guy does slow pays this. So number one, if you're in business, open your mail. I don't care like how big you get. Well, eventually you might not have to do this, but most all businesses, what I'm saying is continue to open all your mail.
Yeah.
Know what's going on. If you're having other people pay or read your emails, I get it, but I also don't. But like continue to do the small stuff to have that connection with your vendors to make sure you know what's going on when they send you an invoice. You know, a lot of stuff is sent electronically, but stuff does come in the mail still.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is making correct movements, moving correctly, whether it be even if it takes you extra time.
Yeah.
Just make all moves correctly.
Yes. And I think that a lot of times maybe just people just don't do the right amount of research in order to make the move correctly.
And there's also people out there that are guilty of overthinking,
over-researching,
never doing anything.
Yeah.
So you gotta find that middle ground. And I will always remember this conversation recently this fall. I've got this guy. I would hope everybody has this guy. I've got a guy that he also owns a landscape business, but we're friends, and you know, when it's snowstorming, it's a guy you talk to like get each other through it, right? And you have industries where you know, even if like you're a chef and you know other chefs, and it's your work stress relief because you talk to them more than necessarily your significant other because they know like what's going on. So we had this project. It was on the side of a hill, very dangerous slope. And, you know, whenever I get into weird projects like that, I'll involve, his name's Mike. I'll immediately call Mike. Like if Mike ever dies, I don't know how I would function, you know?
Wow,
because
that's big.
There's certain people that like I rely on heavily for their opinions on stuff. Mm-hmm. But he came out, he looked at it, he said, you know, we had the conversation and then we had this conversation over again and again. And finally Mike shut me up and he says, we're not getting anywhere if we just do it. And he hopped in the machine. I mean, this was a giant track hoe. He's like, well, we're not going to make anything unless we start doing it. And he just like shrugged his shoulders, and just the way he did it to me was just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that connection and that relationship that I have with Mike, priceless. Because we would have never started it. And then we got into it and we just killed that hill. Like, working with him was so fluent and it was so dangerous, but yet I trust my life with that dude. And like it was just, in 4 hours, we had this hillside stripped. Rocks were being laid. He's like, you good? Because like he was just helping me get it started. Yeah. I'm like, bro, more than good. Thank you.
Yes.
Like now that I'm in it, like I got you. Like go.
Yeah.
And he relies on me for help, like stepping in on certain things.
Yeah.
And like it's like different concrete guys, no other concrete guys, and they'll get worried about a big job and they'll like, can you help me pour this? Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, because you can sense their worry. Yeah. You show up, you get it laid for them, and then cool, you good. And you don't even send each other bills because you know the next time they're gonna. That's, I guess, the glory of working in a trade is finding other trades guys that help you out like that. And that's what I'm addicted to is the camaraderie. Yeah. Well, but there's also guys out there and they seem to weed themselves out that are shady and have only the interests of themselves. Yeah. And you can't do that. Like if you really want to get successful in life, people know that all business owners talk. Yes. Just keep a good head on your shoulders. Have healthy competition. Even though Mike guy's, he is a competitor. Sure. But it's, you don't, until you get in it, you don't know. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's healthy competition, then there's shysters.
There is.
Don't be a shyster.
They're very different. Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to play friendly with people in your same space because you're gonna need
Yeah.
shoulder
to cry
a shoulder
on.
to cry
Yeah.
on, an extra set of hands.
Yep.
Maybe someone who's experienced
Just advice.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, dude, but just like Mike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we're not going to get this done unless we just do it.
Yeah, let's go.
You know? And I had a fellow business individual tell me something once, and they said, John, you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So point of that is you could sit there and you could think about it and think about it and think about it, but you don't know. And don't make decisions for other people. Let them make the decision. You know what I mean? Like don't assume that you're going to come to a customer and say, hey, customer, here's your price. Don't assume that they're immediately going to go, oh, no. No. Just put it out there.
There's also tricks of the trade that,
well, yes. Yeah.
You know,
and we'll,
you never let them start.
Yeah. Oh,
the negotiation.
The person who talks first
There's
loses.
so many people that don't know, business 101, I call it, but this is really street swag.
Yeah.
Like real hustlers know how to talk.
Yes.
And they know how to like hold a meeting and hold a conversation. And it's not that I'm trying to like belittle you, but it's like you're in the buy sell trade business.
Yeah.
Like you don't say a price first, you let them talk.
No.
You know?
No, if anyone asks you,
but
hey,
you
man,
also like I don't want to offend you though.
No.
Like I will be straight up because I will even walk away without giving a price because I value let's get it on the next one. I'm way too low. We're not even in the same ballpark. I don't want to offend you and say
yeah.
This. I'll even give him advice of like, but call this guy. I'm going to send you a number before I leave. Give them a little advice. And we're like, oh, well, why are you helping me?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like they'll get it like a couple of days from now. And the next thing they need to sell or something, they're the first person he calls you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And building those relationships, you just learn in the streets of like how to deal with people. You don't learn that in college. You don't learn that in a textbook. You either have that type of swag too, or you don't.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And believe me when I tell you, there is no. We are in totally different industries for the most part. I mean, we work similarly, but not exactly. I don't think there's anything that I would take offense to because I'm learning.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, as we all are, right?
Yeah.
Yes, every day, brother.
Wilson.
Oh my, Wilson. Hey, buddy.
Chiming in.
How you been, dude?
Wilson's been in the background handling all this technology, man.
Hi. Did anybody else forget about Wilson?
I thought for a second there, what is happening? How was your weekend, man? Like,
man, my weekend was full of technology manuals, man. All these things have 1,000 buttons and 1,000 settings. But we're looking great, sounding great, and you guys are rocking the show, man. You guys just hit a flow.
We couldn't do without you.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
I mean, we couldn't.
No.
Let me tell you, what I know about this mic is it has 2 buttons.
Keep the one little thingy to the right and the other one to the left. Check.
So I'm definitely enjoying expanding my horizons because mostly Nick will even, tell you when we first connected that, magical table, the tables that connected all of us. When we first connected, I was like, I'm an audio guy. So the video stuff hasn't come, wasn't necessarily my forte. But I'm having a great time. It's fun. I get to click a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
So
we've kept our video set up just for people that are interested of how we set up our show. For right now, they are running off iPhones and Ring setups just to get the show started.
Yeah.
I'm currently already kind of annoyed by them because if any sort of bump on these, we've don't really want to do it, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the intro show, I'm very theatric when I talk.
Yes.
And the one ring stand was accidentally touching the table and there was a lot of shakiness. So to what Wilson was saying, we're getting the kinks worked out and stuff. But So yeah, that's cool. That's what you did this weekend, was just continue to read up on how to provide the best quality product for Radio Dumpster.
Absolutely, man. You know, this show, we're going to take it to the moon like we've talked about. And going to have the best quality on the market. Best experience, top to bottom, you know. So that's where I'm at. Enjoying the content, enjoying the talk and the discussion. I'm learning a lot personally. So let's keep it going.
Awesome.
Like, there's a lot of stuff John and I want to talk about.
So many things.
And,
oh my gosh.
We don't really get together during the week because we have day jobs. And I want to call you or message you. I'm like, nope, save it for the show.
Nope. Can't do it.
Save it for the show. So that's how life has been going. Is we're grinding quietly here.
Yeah.
Things are moving slow, but
They're moving.
They're moving, as Rick Ross would say, correctly in the right movement.
What you need. You got to have that slow baby steps.
Yeah.
I know, dude.
I know.
Baby steps are so frustrating.
I know.
Oh
yeah.
In any business,
they are right. And just like teaching like a 4 or 5 year old the training wheels to get them off the bike and stuff.
Yep.
So frustrating. But when they finally get to learn how to ride the bike, and now they don't need you. Now it's. I wish I could go back to that.
Then you're kind of sad.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, you just riding all around the neighborhood without me.
Right. But like in it, you're like, just do it.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Why aren't we done yet? Why aren't we there yet? And and yeah, it's just everything's a process, and we're all learning.
Yeah.
And
but then they grow up, and then they need you for other things. So
yeah,
yeah,
like
I do know, you know.
There you go.
So what about you, Nick? What did your weekend consist of?
Oh, I went to the home and garden show. Oh, don't get me started.
I don't know. I don't want to dive too deep into it.
I do.
Okay. All right.
Like, backstory. So my day job, I own a landscaping business. I've been doing it since high school. 20 plus years. I built my business on doing trade shows.
Okay.
And we did elaborate stuff. I'm talking, we built a man cave out of shotcrete for the one show. I'll have to get some pictures in here. We did a martini glass out of concrete for a fountain the one year. We made the front page of the paper a few times.
Wow.
And these shows are such a labor of love, because the other guys, like Johnny the roofer, he'll come in and put like the day of the show, a table, a cloth, his backdrop set up. He'll maybe have 2 hours of setup. We would do a full-on crew, dump trucks, skid steers, mini excavators.
Wow.
Sets, movie sets. We would make giant theatrical walk-through shows.
Got to show people what you can do.
Yeah, forced plants. Like, we would have a third party grow it in the winter, because these trade shows are in the winter.
Yeah.
We'd have a third party grow the plants forced into bloom. So you name it. We used to do this, and I don't miss it anymore, because it does burn you out, and they're a ton of money. And you start seeing the same people come to the show. I mean, it's not for we took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Like, if people want to get into business and do invest correctly into something, I think trade shows, people skip over that as thinking of how to grow your business. They do work.
Yeah.
Like, having a face-to-face connection with another customer, and they're walking the show, but making that connection, people buy from people,
Yeah.
So anyways, long story short, last night I met a friend of mine who took a break from doing the shows for many, many years, and he's back doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just vibe. I went up and met him at his booth the last hour of the show. And then, he left his booth just to go check out everybody else's. And, the chit chatter. I miss the camaraderie where we were walking down all the aisles, and that vendor, because you helped him bring in his suitcase. Just that camaraderie of knowing like the different show people. It's such a vibe. Like until you actually do the shows.
Yeah.
They're a ton of work. So many hours on your feet. Some shows are a week long. Some shows are 3 days, but you have to man the booth. Like you can't just leave it vacant.
Yeah.
And they're exhausting and things become like a blur. The whole week becomes a blur. And after the show's done, a week later, you've got to take all these leads and you got to remember like the conversations you had with this person like a week ago. And you've had conversations with all these different people. So there's a certain skill set to doing trade shows. And your first one, you're going to you will catch on. Don't get timid. Just do it. And I want trade shows to still live on. So do those shows.
Yeah.
Like do the craft shows. Spend a little bit of money to flip and make a couple $100. Even if you break even, you're still experiencing and making connections. Even with the people at the show working the other booths, those are your customers too. Become your customers too. And we've found luck in that where this other business, we needed something from them. They needed something from us. A lot of trading. I encourage trading a lot in business. Like your vendors, you need something from them. Just see what they need.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, what do you got going on? And they know what I'm asking. What do you got going on in your house?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Absolutely.
What can I do for you?
Yeah.
You're helping me out all the time. What can I do for you? That's a customer. You just made a connection that you didn't even know Oh, I thought I was just buying stuff from you.
Yeah.
No, that's a connection.
A customer.
Everybody's a connection.
A referral source.
Yep.
All of it. All of it. And just putting yourself out there, how else could you do that in such a professional setting other than a trade show? Yeah. And I don't think people go to those anymore. I think people are very online now.
To that point, last night I went to the Cleveland IX Center. So if you're not from the area,
the IX.
Yeah, if you're not from the area, the IX Center is huge.
Oh.
It's a mini city. I don't know how many acres just this building is.
Yeah.
It's massive, massive, massive.
Do they still have the
Ferris wheel?
Ferris wheel?
No.
Oh.
So during COVID, the IX Center took a huge hit because the IX Center is the auto shows there.
Yeah.
A lot of those shows stopped happening during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So it's under new ownership.
The bridal show, home and garden, all that's there, right?
Yeah. So I've been going to these shows for 20 years and it was depressing walking in last night.
Really?
It was a third of what it used to be. But I know that because I've seen how big these shows were back in the day.
Yeah.
Like when I was popping in it and all these other guys were in it. Like even the garden section was way less than what it used to be. But the show was good because they moved in the walls. So it was a little bit more cozy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I knew because I'm like, man, this used to go through this whole other West Wing.
Mhm.
The West Wing wasn't even open. But the show was smaller in size, but it was more intimate. And my buddy David was like, looked at me, said, this is the first day of the show. Well, they did open Friday, but we don't really count those Fridays. It was Saturday when I went, and it was day number 1 of the show, official, like, day number 1.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the best show I've done in 9 years.
Awesome. So people are back at
But
it then.
I said, I didn't expect to hear that
I
from
love
you
that.
because I walked in through the vendor side. So I walked through the empty side of the show because I know what door to go in. Right.
Experience.
I didn't go through the main part. I went through the back part, like behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And I was like walking in. I'm like, oh, I was just like shaking my head. I'm like, this section's not even open.
Wow.
Like, this is disappointing. Like, people are not going. But once I got inside the curtains, I'm like, oh, well, they did this right. It is a smaller show, but they pull the curtains closer.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more intimate. And the people that are going are not cold leads because shows like huge like that, well, there are a lot of cold, maybe warm leads. They were hot leads because the people that were going were actually needing something done and going for it. So it was a more intimate show. It was smaller. I really want if you're listening to this in business, if you sell anything, even a product or service, try them out.
Yeah.
Get the smallest booth space. You don't need to go big. If you want to, fine. But just get the smallest price point, 10 by 10, 10 by 20. You know what I'm talking about. Work with the show coordinators. Negotiate your price. Nothing's set in stone for these shows.
Oh, that's good to know.
Okay. They have a menu, right, that they'll show you, and this is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I asked David the other day, I said, because they start marketing for you to get these vendors in the summer.
Yeah.
I said, well, when did you decide to do this? He's like, 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
We just made the cutoff because they do a printed flyer.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that walks in the show, welcome to the show, and in aisle this is this vendor. So they just made the cutoff to get in. He's like, I decided to do this 2 weeks ago because we're kind of slow right now.
Oh, yeah. What else are you doing?
But it was like the best thing I did because like this is the best show I've done in 9 years.
Wow. And those are going to be hot leads too.
Yeah, because again, the shows are smaller, but we went out to eat afterwards, and
I saw the pictures. The food looked good, dude. Where'd you go?
It's a place called Trivs.
Trivs, okay.
So if these radio guys listening, local Cleveland guy, Mike Trivisano,
okay,
he's a sports guy. Opened up a restaurant. I think he passed away recently, but anyways, Trivs has been a well-known like steakhouse.
Okay,
but the vibe, like we were just wearing jeans and whatever. The vibe was cool, like fit in, no problem. Very highly recommend that place. It was so good.
Awesome.
Service is great. I love like going out to eat.
Oh, me too.
From time to time. I don't really go out too much anymore, but when I do, I'm like, I don't mind spending a couple $100, like just to have a good time.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, I got a family, man. It's like $200 every time we go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. Long story short, that went into a whole different topic of like trade show life.
That's great.
That's what I did. What did you do this weekend?
So basically, I took the kids and the wife out to dinner, actually in Richfield, which I know we talked about earlier, to Olesia's. I think I'm saying that right. Really, really cool place. More on the high end spectrum thing, but they do have a kids menu, which is such a thing. I mean, it really is. And because a lot of times you go, you want to take the wife out.
Did they bring you crayons?
They didn't. Those bastards. No.
Small point off then.
Still for me, it's really one of our go-to places.
I'll have to check. You'll have to send me the info.
Yeah. And so my kids love it because they like the chicken paprikash there. Which is like kids like chicken, but no, they love it. It's like their favorite thing. Like anytime that I'm like, my one daughter, my oldest, I'm like, hey, you know what? Where do you want to go? She's like, can we go to the chicken paprika place? And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So again,
your two daughters, 5 and 7.
Yep, 5 and 7.
Gotcha.
5 and 7. They're amazing. They're good kids. They got a little attitude, a little every so often, but. They're good. They're really good.
They're just starting to get into their personalities and talk. And sometimes you just got to like put them in check. Like, I wasn't really trying to be,
child, remember?
Kind of being a bitch right now.
Kind of doing stuff that I don't need you to do. Thank you. And then Saturday, so you talked about, we talked about this. I do buy, sell, and trade a lot. And that's kind of my day. That's my time to shine because I got to work on that when everybody else is not working. So working when people aren't working.
But the biggest thing with buy, sell, trade is you've got to have stuff to sell it.
Yes.
So having inventory is just as important as selling.
Yes.
So you're constantly repeating that. But, one of the local growers in town here, Tom Dayton, I'm going to have him on the show.
Awesome.
He's been around a long time. He always says, have a beautiful yard full of beautiful plants and always have a full stock because that's just as important as selling it too.
It is.
So
it is.
But, we'll get into the intimate details of not buying too much and then, smart buying,
Smart buying is big, man.
People do forget you can't make money unless you spend it and you can't sell something unless you have it.
It's true. So, I mean,
not to get off topic though.
No.
Car dealerships.
Yeah.
are struggling because they can't get cars in right
No,
now.
they can't.
And that's I don't want to get off topic. But
No, but
that
yeah.
goes into like a lot of like healthy business talk is
Absolutely.
having moving correctly, and
Yeah,
you can't sell bread unless you make the bread.
that's
you know?
absolutely right.
So
Or at least if you're selling bread, and let's say you don't make it, you got to buy it from somebody who you can mark up. So, so Saturday is kind of my day. I can make appointments for people to buy things. I make appointments for people to sell things.
yeah,
You know,
like just kind of chill on Sunday, or is that
so
like,
no, dude.
so you're constantly working?
So before I came here today, I had appointments to sell items,
Mm-hmm.
which I typically I always do like a public meeting area, like a post office or something like that. And then I also had
People don't come to your house.
no, I try to stay away from that as much as I can,
Especially if you have kids.
I have kids. I have kids. I'm married, so just but if so, my space where I meet is actually the high school.
Okay.
Right. And my reason for that is it's very close to my home.
Right.
It's well lit.
Right.
And there's always people there.
Yeah.
And there's video cameras.
Yeah.
So which are all things to consider when you're trying to find a meeting spot. So it's funny. I spend a ton of time at both the high school and the post office.
Yeah.
Not only just like mailing items out to people.
Well, you want to find something that's well lit and under camera.
Well lit, under camera,
Yep.
and close. And we can go into this a little bit more. But just making sure that whatever your meeting place is somewhere that you are comfortable with. You set it.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone else set it.
Because I own a business like with mowers and string trimmers and blowers, obviously we have to update those for us to be productive. So
Yeah.
I've been in the buy sell trade. And I think I talked about trading with other vendors is very important. It's a kind of unique thing that people don't really think as having a back pocket to their portfolio, but having the art of trading is very helpful. But I've been kind of forced into the buy sell trade because of what I do.
Yeah.
But I've sold, and now with the dumpsters, people throw away some of the craziest things. Let's dive in. Let's talk about it. I've pulled out like wood planers out of dumpsters that were fully functioning. I pulled out all sorts of stuff that they were just doing a house clean out. They threw it in there, and I've resold a lot of stuff that people throwing away.
Yeah.
But the connections that I make, I'm just speaking for myself. The connections that I've made, you remember them. Like I remember buying a dump truck when I was like 15 years ago. I flew out to Philadelphia. Guy picked me up at the airport. Took me, and I was hoping that this deal was as true as I thought. I flew out there, drove the truck home.
Oh yeah. So
Bought it, drove it home.
got to be a good truck at that point.
It turned out to be a nightmare. But
well, that's okay.
it was very low miles, but it was a cemetery truck. So it never left you learn that you have to check the hours on a vehicle is more important than the mileage, especially when you're buying like police officers, right? Their car is always on. They're not necessarily moving. When they recycle a car, it's like, I don't know, I'm making up a number. Let's say it's 60,000 miles, right? 60 or 100,000 miles. I don't know what they do, but the hours when it reaches 100,000 miles versus like a normal Joe Blow that goes back and forth to work, the hour meter on those cars, because they run all day long, just sitting on idle, is astronomical. So I've learned, just because it's been city service, like just know that the hours on that engine are way higher because it sits on idle. And I remember that one time I flew out to Philadelphia thinking I got a great deal. It was $10,000 for a $20,000 dump truck. Thing was clean as hell. I'm like, flew out there, drove it back home, and like a month later, the engine blew. And I got a quick learning lesson of like the hours. The mechanic's like, there's like 1 million hours on this. Like, what did this truck used to do? And then I ended up calling the guy back. He's like, oh yeah, it was a cemetery truck. So it never really left the cemetery grounds. and I'm sure was left on idle.
It never went over 30 miles an hour.
Right. So sometimes, but you learn, and you learn about the connections you make. Do you remember those? Like, I remember them
absolutely.
vividly.
So I remember virtually. I remember actually, like, well, I have to remember them because, like, let's say you're into. I'm just going to throw out a product. You're into 8-tracks, right?
Yeah.
Love them. Well, what if I come across a bunch? Who else am I going to have buy them?
Oh yeah. So you actually keep track. Do you
keep
have
track,
like an Excel sheet or something?
I do. And
that's smart.
Part of it's just staying organized. Like, people think, oh, it's not really
I never even thought of that.
Yeah. Oh, you got to stay organized.
Huh. No, in the buy sell trade that you actually like find a customer that is into that, and then like have like a customer note.
Yep.
Simple, but like you don't even like think about that.
No, you would never think about it. But I think you can apply.
Because I remember those transactions, like the dump truck in Philadelphia 15 years ago. I can't remember his name nor his phone number at this point. But I guess like keeping track.
Yeah.
I never want to do business with that guy again. But
well, of course you don't. But
yeah, no, like even just the smallest things. Yeah.
Or even remembering people to where you did have a bad experience with them, and thinking like, oh, you're contacting me about something that you want. Well, I don't know that I want to deal with you.
Whenever I sell something, I always do either a bill of sale or actually create an invoice through our business. So I guess there's ways that I could go back and find details of if I find something but simple stuff.
Yeah, it's very simple stuff. So, so
that's your weekend.
Yeah, so that's my weekend. And you had mentioned, and I think we can talk about this too. You had mentioned just like things that you find at a dumpster. So, we're probably gonna do some different segments in this. What do you think?
So so today goal is introduce John, co-host. Hi, John, and also talk about merch. We talked about what type of merch coming soon. Make sure you comment about what you want to see as far as these tumblers, koozies, stress balls, Purell things. What do you think is cool when you go to a trade show? What are you looking for? Is it a ruler? Any giveaway? Pens? The common stuff I get. Maybe I'm missing one thing.
Yeah.
Comment below on what you would like to see merch wise. And then number 2, homework for the viewers here is what you want to see segment wise. So go ahead with what you have one idea. I have one idea.
Yeah.
We'll shortly talk about. We have a lot of ideas, but like for segments for the show.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So my one idea is something that I want to call Flip Life, and basically what it's just going to teach our viewers and kind of show them is how you can take maybe just a little bit of capital and turn it into quite a bit, and then how you can scale a business off of it. So that's what my segment I'd like, just to show.
What do you mean, like garage sailing or like
garage sailing,
crafting? What do you mean?
Garage sailing, crafting. Finding just low cost items that are just undervalued, and then just being the ability to resell them. And then avenues to do that.
Yeah, I think that's trending in the world right now.
It is, yeah, it is.
An Amazon store, but getting back to the basics
of
like making flyers and stuffing them in mailboxes, getting back to the basis of doing like trade shows, like get back to the basics.
Yes, the basics.
Start small. I sold glow sticks in college.
Boom.
I didn't enjoy a fireworks show for a good part of 6 years because I was working the shows.
Yeah.
And I would have these tubes on my back, and we'd sell the glow sticks. We'd also have flashing earrings and like tongue rings and like little binkies we sold. But we cleaned up at shows. We'd make $400, $500 profit after our stuff was paid for a show.
Yeah.
And back then, that's for somebody that didn't have a lot of money. And it was all cash.
Yeah.
It just took some buying the stuff.
Yep.
I remember borrowing $1,000, but giving it right back. Let me flip this for you.
Yeah, and
sand art bottles. Remember the bottles? You set up the stand, and then you have like the buckets of the different colors, and then people would come up to your stand and fill up the stand, like stupid stuff. Selling pickles. I know a girl that
the pickle one's great. I love that one.
I just have that in my head because I went to the trade shows.
Yeah,
and those guys are still out there
they
grinding. and I just miss that show vibe where they're killing it. Their lines out the door. They're selling waffles. They're selling. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that little grind that they've put all this work into it.
Yeah. Yes.
Making money with it, and then you've got all this downtime. But so that'll be a segment of
And then what do you think? You had an idea too, right?
I think just it's a very quick segment, so we could keep on track with the show. What did you do this weekend? Will be a segment.
Yeah.
And we just got to learn, because we both like to talk of how to
how to manage that time.
How to manage the time so the podcast goes smooth. And it's something that I've created through the work of the planner. It's called My Five.
Okay.
So the five most important things that you have to do in the day, and then categorizing the five with the ABC method.
Okay.
So, we could go around every time we meet and like talk about what your five was for the week, like in general, like what are your five things that you want to accomplish this week? So we could have a My Five segment, like this is what I'm currently working on, and it may lead to a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, we're gonna. I have a lot of ideas for the show.
Yeah,
we're really relying on the viewers here to help us out come out with some of these, and a lot of them will come organically.
I would love to hear viewers' My Fives too.
Yeah, what's your five? Like what do you do during the day?
Yeah.
What is on your list of things to do?
Yeah,
here?
absolutely. I want to hear from them.
What's your top five? What's your My Five? So that'll be a segment.
Cool.
And then really focusing on having guests. Our big thing. I love you, John, but our goal is to have a lot of guests.
Yeah. Oh, and the more the better.
Some of the shows that you're gonna see coming up may have John in them, may not, just based on scheduling. But also too, I think the guest experience, having a more intimate conversation with myself and them, we're figuring that out.
Oh yeah.
So we're figuring all this out. Most importantly, we want to hear from you, the viewer, and if you are an entrepreneur or high performing person, so you don't necessarily need to own a business.
No.
Like if you're a doctor, let's say, you're not going to own the hospital, right?
No.
But you're a high performing person.
Absolutely.
Well, you're good in your trade. You've been doing it a long time. High performing person.
Yep.
High performing person or entrepreneur. Those are the guests we're trying to have on.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them, different trades, different types of people.
It can be anything. I mean, whatever space you occupy, we want to explore it. We want to know about it.
We want to know what's your five?
What do you do every day?
What are you doing?
I love it.
I think with that, again, today was like I guess officially show number 0001. John is finally here, co-host. Introduction was great.
Yeah.
Another slight intro to John, what the show's about. We are relying on you. So if you have found value in this show, please donate $1 or more to Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, all at Radio Dumpster. Thank you.
Thank you.